05:45 hours. Strait of Hormuz. The pre-dawn waters remained glassy, reflecting the faint glow of navigation lights from distant tankers. Silence enveloped the U.S. Navy carrier strike group. Then alarms blared. 200 Iranian fast attack boats launched from coastal bases, closing at maximum speed. Radar operators aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln detected the anomaly first. Multiple contacts appeared on screens in the Combat Information Center. Initial count, 150 small vessels. Correction followed, 200 confirmed. Each boat measured 15 to 20 meters, armed with anti-ship missiles and heavy machine guns. Speed, 45 knots. Distance, 28 nautical miles. The threat vector aligned directly with the carrier group. Commanding officer initiated alert protocols. Bridge personnel scrambled. The stakes materialized instantly: potential blockade of the strait, disruption of global oil flow. Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy claimed the operation as a defensive exercise. U.S. forces classified it as hostile intent. Orders cascaded: battle stations. Air wing prepared for launch. Surface combatants maneuvered into defensive formations. Tension mounted in the Tactical Action Officer Station. At 05:47 hours, airborne early warning systems activated. E-2D Hawkeye aircraft, already aloft, vectored additional sensors toward the incoming swarm. Detection range extended to 35 nautical miles. The Iranian boats formed a dispersed wedge. 120 leading craft equipped with Noor missiles, effective at 90 kilometers. 80 trailing vessels carrying C-802 variants. U.S. response initiated with air assets. F/A-18E Super Hornets taxied on the Lincoln's deck. Catapults primed. First pair launched at 05:49 hours. Altitude climb, 10,000 feet in 45 seconds. Armament, AGM-65 Maverick missiles and JDAM precision-guided bombs. Engagement envelope, 25 nautical miles for initial strikes. At 05:51 hours, the Super Hornets acquired targets. Radar lock on 40 leading boats. Missiles away, 8 AGM-65s streaked from underwing pylons. Impact in 22 seconds. Direct hits vaporized 3 vessels. Flames erupted across the water. Iranian countermeasures deployed. Chaff clouds and evasive maneuvers. Boats scattered, increasing separation to 200 meters. U.S. pilots reported secondary explosions, missile cook-offs. Command relayed, press the attack. At 05:33 hours, additional air support joined. MH-60R Seahawk helicopters lifted from escort destroyers USS Arleigh Burke and USS Spruance, equipped with Mark 54 torpedoes and Hellfire missiles. Hover altitude, 500 feet. Sensor fusion identified submerged threats. Possible Iranian mini-submarines mixed in the swarm. Torpedoes dropped on 2 contacts. Detonation at 05:55 hours. Water columns shattered the surface. 1 submarine confirmed destroyed. Debris analysis later verified Ghadir class. At 05:56 hours, the swarm closed to 20 nautical miles. Shipboard weapon systems came online. Aegis radar on the cruisers locked tracks. Standard Missile 6 SM-6 batteries prepared. Firing sequence, salvo of 12 missiles from USS Ticonderoga. Launch arcs illuminated the horizon. Travel time, 18 seconds to intercept. Iranian boats fired first. 60 Noor missiles inbound. Speed, Mach 0.9. Altitude, sea skimming. At 05:58 hours, intercepts began. SM-6 as detonated proximity fuses. 45 Iranian missiles obliterated mid-flight. Fragments rained into the sea. Remaining 15 continued. Close-in weapon systems activated. Phalanx CIWS on the Lincoln spun up. Gatling guns tracked. Bursts of 20mm tungsten rounds shredded incoming threats at 1 nautical mile. 3 missiles impacted waters short of targets. At 6,004 hours, the boats reached 15 nautical miles. Destroyers unleashed Harpoon missiles, 8 from each vessel. Total, 24 outbound. Iranian defenses, machine gun fire and shoulder-launched SAMs. 2 Super Hornets evaded hits. 1 Seahawk took minor damage rotor blade perforation. Harpoons struck, 18 boats disintegrated. Hulls shattered, crews ejected into churning waves. At 63:02 hours, escalation intensified. Iranian vessels deployed suicide drones. 50 small UAVs lifted from decks. Speed, 120 knots. Payload, high explosives. U.S. countermeasures, electronic warfare pods jammed signals. 30 drones veered off course. Remaining 20 targeted the Lincoln. SeaRAM systems engaged. Rolling airframe missiles launched in pairs. Intercepts at 3 nautical miles. Explosions lit the sky. At 06,004 hours, close quarters phase initiated. Boats within 10 nautical miles, .50 caliber mounts on U.S. ships opened fire. Tracers arced across the strait. Iranian returns, rocket-propelled grenades splashed harmlessly. SEAL Team 6 embarked on the destroyers, prepared boarding parties. Rigid-hulled inflatable boats deployed at 06,005 hours. Objective, capture high-value targets. At 06,006 hours, airstrikes resumed. F-35B Lightning II from USS America joined the fray. Stealth profiles evaded detection. GBU-53 Leish B Stormbreaker bombs released. 12 precision strikes. Boats clustered in groups of 10 targeted. Impacts created fireballs. 25 vessels sunk in 30 seconds. At 06,008 hours, torpedo threats emerged. Iranian boats dropped acoustic decoys. Mark 54s from Seahawks homed in regardless. 4 torpedoes found marks. Subsurface detonations lifted boats bodily from the water. Hull breaches flooded engines. At 06:10 hours, the swarm fragmented. 140 boats remained operational. U.S. fleet maneuvered. Carriers turned into wind for sustained launches. Additional 20 Super Hornets airborne. Strike package formed. Layered attacks from multiple vectors. At 6:12 hours, missile exchanges peaked. Iranian C-802s, 40 launched in volley. Aegis systems prioritized SM-3 intercepts for high-altitude threats. 35 neutralized. 5 penetrated outer defenses. CIWS engaged at 06:13 hours. All destroyed. No impacts on U.S. hulls. At 06:14 hours, helicopter gunships pressed closer. Hellfire's ripple fired. 16 missiles per Seahawk. Boats evaded with sharp turns. 8 hits confirmed. Fires spread across decks. At 16:16 hours, the distance narrowed to 5 nautical miles. Close-in systems dominated. Phalanx mounts cycled continuously. Iranian machine guns rattled ineffectively. U.S. 5-inch guns from destroyers targeted clusters. High explosive rounds detonated on impact. At 6,018 hours, boarding actions commenced. SEAL teams approached under cover fire. Grappling hooks secured. Operators stormed decks. Close quarters combat, suppressed weapons neutralized crews. 3 boats captured intact. At 06:2000 hours, the Iranian formation broke. Remaining vessels turned for retreat. Pursuit authorized. Air assets harried the withdrawal. Additional 30 boats struck. The sky erupted. 12 impacts. Simultaneous detonations. Water boiled from subsurface blasts. Iranian boats shattered hulls split. Superstructures crumpled. Missiles streaked in salvos, 80 intercepts in 90 seconds. Fragments scattered across 2 square nautical miles. Sensory overload gripped the battle space. Acrid smoke billowed. Diesel fires roared. Waves churned with debris. Casualty counts mounted rapidly. 45 boats vaporized in the initial wave. Crew screams pierced the chaos. U.S. systems overloaded momentarily radar clutter from explosions. Adjustments followed, filters engaged. Another volley, 25 NOR missiles inbound, intercepted at 2 nautical miles. Detonations cascaded like thunder. The strait transformed into an inferno, 30 additional vessels obliterated. Time elapsed, 4 minutes of peak violence. Airframes screamed overhead, dropping ordnance with precision. SEAL insertions added ground truth. Captured radios revealed panic in Iranian commands. Boats rammed each other in evasion attempts. Collisions claimed 10 more. The climax built relentlessly. Phalanx guns whirred 4,500 rounds per minute. Incoming RPGs shredded mid-air. A single Iranian torpedo grazed a destroyer. Minor hull damage, no penetration. Retaliation swift. Mark 54 countermeasures deployed. Detonation confirmed. The air thickened with cordite. Visibility dropped to 1 nautical mile. Laser designators pierced the haze, guiding final strikes. 15 UAVs kamikaze dived, all intercepted by SeaRAM. Explosions overlapped, merging into a continuous roar. Boat counts dwindled from 200 to 80 in under 5 minutes. Survivors abandoned ships, life vests dotting the waves. USP, helicopters hovered, assessing threats. Final intercepts, 10 missiles downed in 20 seconds. The violence peaked, pure brutality unfolded in calculated layers. 12 minutes after initial contact, silence descended. Damage assessment commenced via drone overflights. Iranian losses, 172 boats destroyed, 18 captured, 10 escaped damaged. Casualty figures. Estimated 850 Iranian personnel killed or wounded. U.S. side, 0 vessels lost, minimal damage to 1 destroyer from glancing torpedo. 2 helicopters reported shrapnel hits, operational status maintained. Rescue operations initiated at 6:35 hours. MH-60R Seahawks lowered teams to extract survivors. 120 Iranian sailors pulled from the water. Medical aid administered aboard U.S. ships. Interrogations began immediately. Intelligence on command structures gathered. Debris fields spanned 5 nautical miles. Environmental teams noted oil slicks. Fleet repositioned, carriers withdrew to safer waters. Escorts patrolled the perimeter. Command logs recorded the engagement as a defensive success. No U.S. casualties emphasized in reports. The strait cleared of threats within 20 minutes. Salvage operations recovered missile fragments for analysis. Calm returned incrementally. Waves lapped against remaining hulls. The tactical lessons were immediate and profound. U.S. layered defense doctrines proved resilient against mass swarm tactics. Air superiority dictated the outcome. Integration of F/A-18s, F-35s, and Seahawks overwhelmed numerical advantages. Iranian reliance on speed and saturation failed against Aegis-guided intercepts. 95% missile neutralization rate demonstrated. Doctrinal shifts followed. Emphasis on electronic warfare to disrupt drone swarms. Regional reactions varied sharply. Tehran denounced the action as aggression, vowing retaliation through proxy forces. Gulf allies expressed relief, citing preserved shipping lanes. Israel heightened alerts, anticipating spillover. Russia and China issued statements criticizing U.S. unilateralism while bolstering their own naval postures. Strategic ramifications cascaded across the Middle East. Oil prices spiked 15% in initial trading, reflecting strait vulnerability. NATO partners reviewed similar scenarios in the Black Sea. The engagement fundamentally reshaped deterrence models. Massed small craft no longer viable against carrier groups. Intelligence assessments highlighted Iranian command fractures. Real-time communications intercepted revealed hesitation and escalation. Broader implications touched nuclear negotiations. Hardliners in Iran gained traction, stalling talks. U.S. policy reinforced freedom of navigation operations, with increased patrols authorized. Economically, the incident underscored global dependence on the strait. 20% of world oil transited daily. Military analysts projected upgrades, enhanced CIWS variants, and autonomous countermeasures. The event served as a case study in asymmetric warfare resolution, where technological edge trumped quantity. In 35 minutes of unrelenting combat, the U.S. Navy dismantled a 200-boat assault with precision and minimal loss. The strait remains open not through negotiation, but through demonstrated capability.